Let's talk about Married to Medicine. It has been a mess this season. It
Baby.
has been a mess.
The elephant in the room is that Phaedra was like, I'm gonna go on this show so I can play with these girls, but I know where I'm going to get my bag, and it will not be on Married to Medicine. I think that
Agreed.
in the long game, in the sense that she did Traders, and then right after Traders, well, no, she did Dubai, then she did Traders, and then right after that, she was on Married to Medicine,
hmm And
and now she's
listen,
back in Atlanta. Or
I agree with I agree with you. However, comma, I do think they are mean girls, and I do think that as I was looking at the show, I'm like, nobody lasts long in this group. Nobody lasts long that wasn't a part of the original group.
that
Um, Anila lasted what, one or two seasons?
too.
Two seasons, maybe. Who
And
else was
clearly is
on?
still very eager and thirsty to be back on the show. Because
Yeah,
every time they show her, she's really trying to be in the cameras.
she is.
And it's
Um,
very apparent. It's really sad.
yeah. The dentist lady, we barely got to see her a couple seasons ago. And then she didn't come back. Wasn't she a dentist with the African husband?
The
And he's
black
a
girl from
doctor?
last season?
Huh?
The black girl from last season?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last season.
Okay.
But
So she
she,
lasted a season. I like Dr. Mimi and her husband. They ain't gonna last either.
I hope that
Um,
they do. But I mean, the only way that they would last is if Contessa stays on the show, and because Contessa seems to like Dr. Mimi.
right.
Excuse me.
And Sweet Tea is having a hell of a time on the show.
She shouldn't have
Um,
never been on the show.
Honestly, she shouldn't have. She's a bad example because she should have never been there. But my
Because
point is,
basically,
outside of their original core group, nobody's lasting. And there's a reason for that. And it's because they're mean girls.
well, I mean, obviously so, but like in terms of the mean girl aspect of it, it applies it, but doesn't apply at the same time as it relates to Sweet Tea. And my thing is like, if I was in Sweet Tea's position, there's no way in hell that I'm going to go on to a already established
No.
and show and try to be in this woman's group. And this woman, mind you, is my now husband's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Setting yourself up to be in drama and chaos.
Well,
Why would people like you?
I think also though, we have to be honest in that there was some lag that season in terms of like, was Quad going to join the cast or not? And so I think Sweet Tea was kind of like a contingency plan, thinking that Quad wasn't going to come back.
They were
And
trying to
then,
stick it to Sweet Tea at the end of the day, because you also know that they were also putting Quad on time out, so to speak, because
right,
she had got too big for her britches.
right,
So
right.
they were, but it's still just jacked up because at the end of the day, you built your show around this woman that you said was too big for her britches, kind of like
Yeah,
how they did Nene eventually.
agreed. Yeah. They like people to get big, but not too big.
Yeah,
So
that's really unfortunate.
it is. Let's talk about Dr. G and Quads like going at each other. What did you think about that where were they in Key West? In Key West?
It was bound to happen.
Agreed.
I did. I don't know if I put it on our YouTube, but I did talk about it over on TikTok. Not specifically Quad and Dr. G, but more so just Dr. G and being a bitch ass
Hmm.
type of energy. Like,
Yes.
because in what world is it okay for you to start something and then when another man checks you on the behaviors that you are conducting towards his now partner, you gonna go to the police to regulate the
Yeah.
situation? You started it.
Yeah.
Like, and so he was ready to finish it. So now you gonna go like, really?
And like telling somebody's partner like you have a big mouth and all of this stuff, it's
And
like
just disrespectful. And then you
that's
also talk to your
disrespectful.
current wife the same way that you used to speak to Quad. Basically, you're telling
Absolutely.
the world that everything that she told us about you is
It's
right.
true. Yeah. Agreed.
Like,
Agreed. I mean, and I listen, I'm not letting Quad off the hook. She did too much. She was clearly
but she was also
overserved.
very sauced.
She was very overserved. And honestly, part of this is like on production and whoever set up the scene because why would y'all put her right in front of him like that? It's like they're trying to cause some like light a match a little bit. And it's like,
Unnecessary friction.
unnecessary friction. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because that whole thing wouldn't have happened, especially not in that way, if they had just been moved two seats down.
Yes. But it also makes me wonder because Quad is also one to, from the looks of this show, we don't know her personally, so like let's not do that. But from the looks of this show, she is also one to put herself in situations where it's like, oh, you gonna see me.
True, but I feel like that would have been better to sit across from them.
Maybe. But I think that it's a thing of like, you're behind me, like metaphorically and physically, you're behind me. So I'm just gonna, put what it is that I got going on Front Street and then turn around and look back at you as like peasants. Because
Yeah.
that's what it
I
was
mean,
giving me.
sure. But I just thought the whole thing was like, listen, I understand what reality TV is, but I feel like sometimes we get a little too antagonistic
Agreed.
in ways that are unnecessary for the story. And like we would have still probably gotten them blowing up at each other at some point or saying little slick shit on camera or like, oh, I know how she is, whatever. He would have still said some of that stuff.
And at the end of the day, that's what the people of the production, if I think it's True Media, that's what
Yeah.
they wanted. That's why they set the situation up like this. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like when you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with black people, like we don't tolerate disrespect like that.
no.
So you say something out the way, and that is immediately cause for what happened the next day with King and what he, his response. It's
Mhm.
like that was disrespectful. Apologize, or it's that's it. That is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like sometimes they're adding to it in a way that is unhealthy for everybody involved and cause for physical altercations and everything else. You know what I mean? Like you can't say, "Oh, we don't fight, whatever, blah blah blah," but then you sit them there for them to do that. Like that's mm,
Like,
mm.
what are you really looking for at the end?
Yeah, yeah,
And then you can't be mad when it goes down the way that you set it up to go down.
agreed, agreed.
Which is why a lot of these reality stars end up trying to sue the production companies, and all these new clauses exist in the contracts because y'all set these people up to do this shit and then want to be like, oh, no, no, you can't sue me. I didn't do this.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, I think that's a cultural competency too. Um,
Hmm.
moving on quickly to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Sutton has been gross this season.
I have been in and out of Beverly Hills. But I feel like what I have seen as it relates to Sutton is just tired of the bullshit with people and how she has like not necessarily she didn't speak up in the ways that she probably should have in other situations. So now she's just like regurgitating it on everybody now.
Maybe, but I think the way she's behaving is like very like the whole stuff with Dorit when she was like, I think it was Erica was like, "You think you're better than her?" And she was like,
I think
"I
my
mean, I think
pocketbook is.
my
Yeah.
wallet is." Like, I'm like, "What?
Like, well,
Like,
where'd that come from?
where did that come from? Where did that come from?"
Marie has money too. Just because she getting divorced doesn't mean that she's gonna be without coin.
And the thing that really irritates me the most about Sutton is like you got your money through a divorce. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's not, listen, I am a proponent. There is nothing wrong with it. She was there at the start. She helped the man build his business. She raised his children. Like she deserves what she got, right?
Hmm.
But like let's not act like you made it on your own and you became some huge like her aspiration was to be like on Broadway or something and like you became some Broadway star and you had all the what I mean like you were choreographing on Broadway and like all of the
All
money
this
came from
thing.
that kind of stuff like girl you got your money in a divorce just like Dorit is going to get her money in a divorce
Yeah.
relax.
But and devil's advocate a little bit. I also can say that with as far as Dorit, I mean not Dorit, Sutton is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
she might be one of the only housewives outside of Candy who has a business that has been flourishing since she got on the show. Candy has multiple.
Yeah,
But I mean, Sutton, still having her shop, I think it's like on Rodeo Drive or whatever,
yeah,
wherever. She's the only one of that ilk that still is like thriving.
yeah, but to that end she wouldn't have been able to afford that shop if not for her divorce money.
Yeah, but she also did that. She started that shop when she was in the middle of getting the divorce stuff finalized. it boosted her ability to, like make money, yes, because she had more financial backing. But I think she started that before well, maybe he might have poured money into it when they were going through their divorce. Maybe, yeah, you might be right.
Like,
Because I think you're right. I think that he did give her like a little bit of money to like start her business, and then
she
she
got
just
some seed
agreed.
money from that husband. Let's be serious.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
yeah, yeah.
Come on.
All right.
So, listen,
I
I'm
don't
not
ever really like
saying
Sutton. So this season, she just was like, I don't know. I think I was just enjoying her actually speaking her mind as opposed to being a quiet Southern belle and then
maybe, but also
commentary elsewhere.
maybe, but also like with her relationship with her mom and how she was like her mom is so harsh, and I'm like you the same way. Like you got that in you too, ma'am. Like the apple didn't fall that far from the tree, sis.
That's what I was going to say.
So
Accurate. Accurate, accurate, accurate.
just saying. So, anyways, do you have any other Bravo shows you want to cover real quick?
I am barely watching them because I feel like
Yeah.
we have gotten to a place where we just kind of like checked out. That's why I said Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm in and out of it. I don't really know the ins and the outs of what's going on per se enough outside of the fact that like Dorit is just going slam off on these hosts on this
Which
show.
I'm enjoying, honestly.
And I'm like, okay, do you. Like, I
Yeah.
guess when your back is really up against the wall, she is coming out swinging.
Yeah.
And that's
And the
fine.
Kyle and Mauricio of it all, I still don't think they're getting divorced.
No, I think there's too much money involved for
Too
them to
much
get
money involved. It's gonna get too messy.
I honestly think it's
Way too much money involved.
because with her having been on this show since its inception, she has most certainly poured a lot of money into his businesses. So I don't
I think
imagine
it's money, but like she's been there for the building of the
of the
businesses.
businesses too, that. But also
Yeah.
like I know that because the sister girl, what is the sister's name? Kathy. Kathy
Kathy.
basically said that Mauricio was working for her husband's
Yeah.
entity and then went off to go do his own thing
Hmm.
once uh Lord have mercy, Kyle, who was actually on this show. That's
Okay.
around the time that he started building his own,
Yeah.
agency.
And we saw it
And
happen in real time where he was
yes,
having first these like small parties and then they were having these like massive parties and there's like
yes.
spin-off show and I don't think the spin-off show got renewed, but there was a spin-off show and there was a this and a that and like his whole business got very big. So I don't think they're going to get divorced. I think they're going to continue in this limbo of whatever they're doing now, but
I honestly feel like they still love one another and
mm-hmm.
probably just need to they're at that stage that the Smiths talked about where like we're not making each other happy, so you need to go find what makes you happy. And I think that what they probably need to explore is open relationships and just be honest about it. You want to see
Yeah.
other people and still have your life partner that you've built a life with.
Yeah, I
And
totally
I don't
agree.
see nothing wrong with that. I
Me
mean,
neither.
it's 2025. People are doing very different things than what, you might have been have be pressed upon you to do when you were first starting out on your own.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So, and I think that's what they're going to ultimately end up doing.
Yeah,
Um, anything else?
I don't think so. Because I'm
All
not really
right.
watching much else on the Bravo sphere. I've barely watched Atlanta to be real.
Yeah, same. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Get down in the comments. Let us know what you're watching on Bravo. Let us know what you thought about any of the shows that we discussed here. And that's it. We'll catch you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.